Yeah. Hello. Yeah. Good morning and welcome to the session Empowering Patients, Lighthouse Projects in Patient Advocacy. I think it's time to learn from our peers. Since 2017, SPAGN has been honoring impactful projects from the member organizations by giving out the Advocacy in Action Awards. Member organizations can apply for this award with ongoing and completed projects in the fields of patient information, education and support, improving quality of life, social media and digital communication, generating real-world experience, advocacy and lobbying the healthcare system, and being involved in or driving sarcoma research. And then a jury composed of healthcare experts and patient advocates. They review the submissions, looking at aspects like impact, patients reached, sustainability, costs, and the grade of innovation. The awards are 1,000 euros for the third prize, 1,500 for the second place, and 2,000 for the first place. And in addition, this year, we have for the first time a dedicated award for a project in the field of bone sarcoma. This is the Paola Gonzato Award, and thanks to the generous sponsoring by our board member, Ornella Gonzato, with 3,000 euros. So the jury has informed us the selection of the three winners, and I'll hand over to my colleague, Gerard.
Well, thank you very much, Gabi. I will start with announcing the third prize, and I'm glad that you explained the process because the third prize is going to someone or a group from my own country. And as you explained, we have a jury who is completely well, I didn't know about the winner before I came here, so I was not involved in the selection, but nevertheless, I'm really happy that they have won. And the third prize is going to the Dutch Philodes group, which is part of the Patiëntenplatform Sarcoma, the patient group for all sarcomas in the Netherlands. And they did really an excellent job in setting up this group and the work that they did. So I think the prize is very much deserved. But Marloes from this group is going to present the work that led to this prize. So I will not further explain it. But anyway, congratulations, and please, Marloes, tell us about why you got this prize. This is the prize.
Thank you very much. Excellent. Okay. Just building up suspense here, right? Yeah, okay. Well, our slogan that we came up with is only together. We saw a lot of together in all presentations and papers. We started, I think, help me out here, 2016. When I was diagnosed with a Philodes tumor in the breast, and we tried to. Oh, we can get to the next slide. Can I do that myself? Or? Oh, excellent. Yes. When I was diagnosed with a Philodes tumor in the breast, and we were trying to gather information, and virtually nothing of any value was able to be found on the internet or from specialists. The slide, Hearts to my fellow Philodes friends, was the first, which we found was an international Facebook group where we gathered a little bit of information, but nothing in Dutch. So mainly Marco, because I was keeping my head down, undergoing my therapies, scrolled on the internet, trying to find fellow Philodis patients in the Netherlands. He created a website, and after a few efforts, he found Dr. Frederike van Duinhoven from the Dutch Cancer Institute to help us with the information that we gathered to see that it was actual and up-to-date and accurate. Then we set up the Dutch Philodis group, and we joined the Dutch Sarcoma patient platform, which helped us tremendously. In patient information, we collaborated with the Dutch Cancer Institute, mainly pathology, Lisa Bakers, Astrid Scholten, radiotherapy, and Dr. Frederike van Duinhoven. And we did the website in Dutch and in English. And we also created what do you call it? I'm sorry? Oh, a video. Yeah, like about how the 3 different subtypes and what the possible treatment could be. We made appearances on a few breast cancer congresses because Philodis mainly comes out in the breast, so the treatment is mainly surgery, and it's usually done by a breast cancer surgeon. During COVID, I had the opportunity to speak at an ESSO conference, and we connected with international specialists, Dr. Laura Rosenberger, who is doing Philodis research at Duke University Hospital. She helped us tremendously, and we visited her last year, and also earlier this week we had the opportunity to connect with her and her team to see what her developments in the research, how it's going. Thanks to Dr. Frederike van Duinhoven, we took part in the committee of the Dutch guideline for breast cancer, which for the first time mentioned Philodis in it. And Marco started fundraising, and as a result of that, Dr. Frederike van Duinhoven started studying also Dutch, and we had the privilege to fund 2 studies that were completed and published already. Like I said, Marco started fundraising for research. He's used to be a baker, so he bakes seasonal bread. We're both great music lovers, so we host private concerts at our house or at our garden, which started in the COVID period, and then we pay the artist, and we invite people who can donate what they think it's worth. And we had a guitar given to us by another cancer patient, on which we collect autographs of Dutch artists, which will probably come up for auction later this year. And like I said, Only Together, it's a song by a Dutch singer-songwriter, Bertolf, and I think I really love this line. I don't know if it plays. No, it doesn't. Like I said. Ooh.
Volgens mij is het een speciaal liedje geworden voor Marloes en Marco. Een soort van de titelsong voor dit hele project. Als het anthem, ja precies. Verwacht ik wel dat jullie het refrein in ieder geval meezingen natuurlijk, hè? Ja. Marco ook, hè? Hard meezingen. Oké. Het heet Only Together and Only Together we can sing this.
Everybody wants the same thing, and we all ask,
if you seem to be yearning to get a pat on the back. No one knows just what they're doing or how it is done, because mostly we're making this up as we go along. And it might still not be too late if we want to live the way, holding together we can make this life. Only together we can get this right. Alright, alright, yeah, we're really gonna need each other. Yeah, we're really gonna need each other. Only together we can make this right.
Like that.
Any questions? No questions? Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, so then I have the pleasure to tell you who is the winner of the second prize. This is the Bone Cancer Research Trust from the UK with a project that managed to institutionalize the inputs of patients, families, and friends. They established a Power of Patients and Public Involvement panel as a source of expertise and perspective for research and other BCRT activities. So congratulations. And I invite Sylvia Kraft, who will tell us about the power of patients in public involvement. Sylvia. So now I was waiting so long. So Sylvia, please tell us how you managed to set up the panels and how it works.
Hi everyone, so I'm Sylvia from the Bone Cancer Research Trust in the UK. Obviously I'm not from the UK, so I don't want to confuse you, but I do live and work there. And I just want to speak to you today about our National Sarcoma Awareness Project that was started to kind of fill in the gap that we and Sarcoma UK, our partners in this, know that people in medical school actually don't really get taught about sarcoma very much. If they do, it's kind of a slide in a lecture. And so really kind of taking that and filling in that knowledge gap and teaching early career doctors about sarcoma. Oh, perfect. So the National Sarcoma Awareness Project, or NSAP, which I will refer to it from here on out, the aim is to really improve the diagnostic experience for patients and their loved ones for bone and soft tissue through the power of education. And early diagnosis remains a priority for both charities, so it's really identified by the patient community. And when we ask them kind of who are the target groups that we should be educating, primary care and GPs has remained number one, at least for BCRT over the last couple of years. And then recently when we asked them who we should be targeting our education efforts on, medical students ranked second when we asked them. So this is kind of right on par with what they want to see from us. So this initiative started in 2013 by us and Sarcoma UK in partnership with an oncologist at the University of Liverpool. And since then, the project, which I'll speak about kind of how it works in just a second, there's been more than 2,400 students and resident doctors who have participated, and we've awarded over 50 fellowships in the last 12 years. So how does the project work? So there's kind of a series of e-learning modules, so videos, resources from us and Sarcoma UK, the guidelines from the British Sarcoma Group, a couple of just kind of different learning resources that we publish for the students and the resident doctors to kind of undertake from a period of a couple of months. And then there's an online questionnaire that's opened. So there's a general section, a bone section, and then a soft tissue section. So to really test kind of what they retained from those learning resources. From there, everyone receives a certificate of participation, and then the questionnaire is kind of scored or graded, and so the top 10 are awarded a fully funded fellowship at a regional sarcoma center in the UK at £750 to help with travel cost, hospital administration fees, and to also get them to the British Sarcoma Group conference in the spring, where they're recognized for their achievement. They get to spend the day completely for free at the day of the conference, learning from experts and researchers in the sarcoma field, to really kind of give them an immersive experience on what sarcoma looks like actually in practice. And so this map here is just a distribution of where the last cohort of students and doctors were for their past placements. So quite geographically dispersed all across the UK. And then that photo there is a picture of some of our cohort from the last year getting recognized at the British Sarcoma Group conference. And so thinking about some strengths and best practices, so collaboration is absolutely key. Collaboration between us and Sarcoma UK, collaboration with the experts in the field. Are we giving the students and doctors the right e-learning resources? Where are some gaps? Are we reaching all of the different students and resident doctors? Student groups was something that was really kind of key in this last year in uptake, so contacting actual kind of student societies and clubs at universities who are either focused on medicine, medical technology. I saw a group the other day that was like surgeons soccer club, so really just tapping into the interest of people in the medical field early on in their career. And then a really kind of strength of the program is developing early career doctors, not only attracting them to the field of sarcoma, but retaining them in the field of sarcoma, which we know is such a niche, so really important to keep really high quality people in that field. And in the last year, in my role, I've kind of overtaken the kind of admin and operational aspects. So having somebody to do that dedicated work really helped contribute to our uptake. And also we had a new logo that came out. So just always kind of being able to evolve and rebrand to fit the needs of the program. And in terms of opportunities, there's always kind of room for growth, evaluation. So unless a past participant has kept in contact with us, we don't really know if they've utilized the knowledge that they learned in the program, which is really, really unfortunate. We need to be able to keep in contact with these people to know if they have seen a patient, if they've referred a patient, or if they're in the field. So that evaluation aspect really needs to kind of develop over the next couple of years. Also to create a more engaging e-learning module, especially with technology, how are we kind of leveraging that to just make it more user-friendly, more accessible, and hope that more people participate in it. And then obviously capacity, it would be amazing to offer even more fellowships, to apply this kind of model to different medical disciplines, so something that we definitely want to look at in the future. So just when we look at the impact, like I said, there was kind of an increase from the previous year's cohort to this past year, the 2024-2025 cohort. And in the questionnaire, we also asked some feedback and follow-up questions just to kind of measure the impact and see what they're learning. So you can see there that before undertaking the e-learning modules, over half of people said that they couldn't recognize the signs and symptoms of a sarcoma. And then after participating in the program, it went up to 98%. And then I won't read this quote in full, but in speaking to our patient community, we know that kind of the clinical expertise and standard of care is really important. But what's also important to them is compassion, empathy. And so this student who was at the East Midlands Sarcoma Service really highlighted not only like the MDT collaboration, but compassionate care and standard of excellence. So that's kind of, I think, even the wider impact of what this work can do. And if you want to learn more about INSAP or get involved, give us some feedback, or think of any ways that we can kind of collaborate with this and apply it to your work, please do get in touch. Thank you.
So any questions to Sylvia on this project, or also other, also inputs from your side?
How do you advertise this?
That is a very good question. So this past year, we did targeted emails and outreach to the student groups. And then we did social media, so paid social media advertising. We looked at the people at the specialist centers who we had close relationships with and had them kind of disseminate the information, looking at primary care networks to get in their newsletters, to have them disseminate the information. It's something that we definitely want to improve on, but right now it's a lot of targeted outreach, word of mouth, and relying on the experts in the field to utilize their contacts. Any other questions? Brilliant, thank you.
No, thank you. Okay, and last but not least, we now come to the announcement of the winner of the first prize, which is the Association de Sarcoma Grupo Asistencial a Sarga. Okay, with an advocacy initiative to lobby with policymakers for a roadmap to ensure early diagnosis and better care for sarcoma patients to be included in the National Health System Cancer Strategy. Congratulations. Congratulations. And this is the prize.
Thank you.
And please tell us all about it.
Well, first of all, thank you so much to SPAGN. It's my first SPAGN annual meeting, so I'm a little bit nervous. Okay. First of all, I want to explain that in ASARGA we are a non-profit organization founded by patients in 2020 during the pandemic, in fact. I'm not a patient, I'm a social worker. I work in ASARGA. And with this, with this initiative, we wanted to ensure that all sarcoma patients in Spain have access to the best treatments provided by experts and multidisciplinary teams across the country, with the aim of improving their survival, quality of life, and future prospects. As a social worker, every day I talk with people that are feeling lost, that have sarcoma diagnosis and don't know what to do. And sometimes it's just as simple as a Google search at 2 a.m. that link them to us. So sometimes I'm the first person that talked with them, and the first person they express their story on the first diagnosis. So for a brief healthcare overview of Spanish system, we wanted to explain that in Spain we have universal and free healthcare, and it's publicly funded. So we sometimes say great things about our public system, but the situation is that it's decentralized. We have 17 regions, and each region manages care under the national health system, but has their own budget. Also, in Spain, as you see, we have 8, we call that CESUR, that are specialized centers for sarcoma care in Spain, that are located in the Comunidad de Madrid, Catalunya, Comunidad Valenciana, and Andalucía. So, as you see, a lot of regions are not covered. In particular, I don't know where to put it, how to point. Yeah. Wait. Here is Galicia, for example, it's my region where Asarga is based. So one patient from here has to go to the nearest center in Madrid that is nearly 600 kilometers, something like that. So another important thing is that we have these specialized centers for sarcoma care with multidisciplinary teams for the health system. It's okay, but the patients still have problems to access these centers because sometimes the oncologists don't know about this, even if it's in the healthcare public system. Sometimes they don't want to. And then we have to fight with them so they can access these centers. And also, if the oncologists don't want to refer the patient to these centers, the patient has to pay for all the accommodation and travel expenses. If the oncologists want to, the patient is covered. So there's inequity in the patient experience. So with this explained, what we do intend from Asarga is to emphasize early diagnosis and referral to hospitals with experienced multidisciplinary sarcoma teams, highlight to policymakers the barriers sarcoma patients face in accessing expert teams from the national health system, and also demand concrete measures and legislative changes to address these issues. So what we did was first to learn about the sarcoma patient experience in order to understand the implications of an effective referral to an expert referral center. In December 2022, Asarga commissioned the Patient Experience Institute to conduct a qualitative research study entitled Qualitative Research on Sarcoma Patient Experience and Referral Protocols to CESUR. And the conclusions of this study show that early referral to expert referral centers improves the patient's outlook. After this, here, Asarga carried out a series of meetings with political decision makers, which culminated in the registration of a non-legislative proposal presented by the Socialist Parliamentary Group in the Congress of Deputies on March 2, 2023, requesting a new approach to sarcoma within the framework of the National Health System Cancer Strategy for its debate in the Health and Consumption Commission. In this non-legislative proposal, the government is urged, in collaboration with the autonomous communities, scientific societies and patient associations, to evaluate the functioning of the protocols for referral and follow-up of patients diagnosed with sarcoma in the national health system, and also to study the establishment of common criteria within the Interterritorial Council of the National Health System on the protocols for action and clinical referral for patients with sarcoma. Because as I explained before, we have 17 regions. Also, on March 27th, 2023, Asarga held a debate on sarcoma in the Congress of Deputies, which had never taken place before, under the title Difficulties in the Care of Sarcoma Patients. And the opening was carried out by the General Director of the Portfolio of Services of the National Health System and Pharmacy, Mr. César Hernández, the President of the Commission of Health and Consumption of the Congress, Mr. Rosa Maria Romero, and the spokesperson of the Commission of the Health and Consumption of the Socialist Groups, Mrs. Ana Prieto. Also, this the conclusion of this was the non-legislative proposal that was approved unanimously by all the members of the House. And after that, in the framework here, of the second annual SARGA conference on 16th November 2023 under the slogan Challenges of Sarcoma Patients' Health at the MD Anderson Cancer Center in Spain Foundation. We lay the foundations to develop a roadmap with the priority lines to be followed to improve the care and quality of life of sarcoma patients. And from these lines was born in January 2024, the Manifesto Against Sarcoma for the right of patients to focus on their health, signed by patient associations such as Cancer Patients Europe, HEPAC, HACE, Vida Association, Maripaz Jiménez Casado Foundation, GIS Collective, Absatur, Iker Association, Alex Lecchio Foundation, Elena Teatre Foundation, as well as professionals and politicians. And this manifesto currently have 3,271 signatures, and it's open to the signature by anyone, so I called you to do that. It demands that training in sarcomas must be intensified and improved among primary care professionals, and that when sarcoma is suspected in the differential diagnosis tests should be prioritized to achieve early detection. More specialized training in sarcomas is also demanded to increase the number of qualified professionals capable of integrating expert multidisciplinary teams, not only in the SUR centers, but also in the entire national health system network. And it also proposes the creation of a single national sarcoma patient database and a technical coordination commission for sarcoma care made up of highly qualified specialists in these diseases, as well as an increase in the number of reference centers. And also, the regional and health administrations are used to support patients with travel, accommodation, and other aids to guarantee equity access to care from anywhere in Spain. At the same time, a call is made for continued financial support of scientific research and in search of better therapeutic options for sarcoma. And continue with this work, on April 10th, 2024, SARGA was present at the European Parliament on the debate and vote on the revision of the pharmaceutical package in the plenary for the adoption of a new regulation to ensure equal access to all medicines in the EU and to promote research into new drugs for serious diseases, and this occasion was used to present the Manifesto Against Sarcoma to various political leaders in the headquarters of the European Parliament and the office of the Spanish government in Brussels. Recently, on December 3rd, 2024, due to the lack of responses to the approved non-legislative proposal, SARGA once again held a conference in the Congress of Deputies called Sarcoma, Making the Invisible Visible, where sarcoma patient associations from all over Spain, sarcoma experts and political decision makers participated in the event. And from this day, contacts with political leaders of the different parliamentary groups are achieved to work on the non-legislative proposal. At the end of that day, in the afternoon, SARGA was also received by the representatives of the Senate Health Committee of the Socialist Group, who listened to the demands of the association about the non-legislative proposal and the Manifesto Against Sarcoma, acquiring the commitment to study it and to summon us to a work meeting, besides inviting us to carry out a conference in the Senate. More recently, the working meetings agreed on the conference have been initiated. On December 17th, 2024, a meeting was held with the Vice President of the Health Bureau of the Socialist Parliamentary Group. And on February 11th, 2025, we held a meeting with the President of the Health Bureau of the Congress of Deputies. Soon, we continue working on this project to ensure the functioning of the protocols for referral and follow-up of patients diagnosed with sarcoma in the national health system to reference centers by November 2025, and to study the establishment of common criteria within the Interterritorial Council of the National Health System on the protocols for action and clinical referral for adult patients with sarcoma by November 2026. These are our objectives. We want to address the sarcoma within the framework of the National Health System cancer strategy. We want to reduce the enormous challenges faced by sarcoma patients, as explained in the Manifesto Against Sarcoma. We want to turn this non-legislative proposal into a national law. These are the things that we are going to do in the next couple of years. And we also, this year, we want to make our annual conference at the Congress of Deputies to present the progress made through this year, 2025. This is a little photo gallery of all the meetings and Congress we made with politicians and also patients and doctors. And thank you so much. Thank you.
So as I mentioned, this year we have for the first time a specific award dedicated to bone sarcoma that was set up and sponsored by Ornella Gonzato. And unfortunately, she cannot be with us, but she sent us a video message.
Hi all, it's a great pleasure to celebrate with you this event in my double role as both the founder and chair of the Fondazione Paola Gonzato Rete Sarcoma and a long-standing member of the board of directors of SPAGN. I'm really sorry I'm not with you in person, but my heart is there with all of you. As several of you will remember, in 2023, I sponsored the SPAGN Advocacy and Action Award as a sign of my support and gratitude to SPAGN for its huge effort in making a difference for all sarcoma patients, developing collaborations and networking across the world to ensure a global impact of patient advocacy is one of its major strengths. In addition, is its effort in providing us all with the feeling of not being alone, but of belonging to a global community by sharing principles, values, and actions. Moreover, from my personal experience, I'm well aware that leading a non-profit organization is a strong commitment that requires both human and financial resources, all the more when an organization is growing all around the world like SPAGN. Basically, that sponsorship represented my contribution to support such incredible effort, considering also that the SPAGN Board of Directors is a voluntary body. This year, I have decided to sponsor a new award, once again under the SPAGN umbrella, a single prize of €3,000 for the best advocacy project specifically on bone sarcomas, in memory of my sister Paola. She passed away because of an osteosarcoma at the age of 34, 9 months after the diagnosis. Having a beloved with a sarcoma really affects the whole family. It was very frustrating and difficult to accept, both as caregiver and as the biologist that I am, that only limited treatment options were available because of the rarity of the disease. That was the moment in which I decided I had to do something to make sarcoma patients less invisible. To date, that's 17 years in advocacy at national as well as international level, thanks to the close collaboration with SPAGN since its early beginnings in 2009. The idea of creating this Paola Gonzato Award aims both at celebrating the outstanding projects on bone sarcomas and at empowering this community. As you know, bone sarcomas are a group of different diseases, rare and ultra-rare. They are 8 to 10 less fold than soft tissue sarcomas. Due to the rarity of these diseases, the already small patient community results further fragmented in groups focused on a specific type of bone sarcoma. Therefore, at the end of 2023, under the SPAGN umbrella, the Bone Sarcoma Alliance, the BSA, was founded. Its mission is to bring together the different bone sarcoma communities to work on issues of common concern in order to amplify the voice of all bone sarcoma patients, as well as to implement collaborations among them and professionals. As a co-chair of the BSA, I consider the Paola Gonzato Award 2025 as part of my commitment to and support for this community. And now it's my pleasure to announce the winner of the Paola Gonzato Award 2025. The winner is the Bone Cancer Research Trust with the project on Bone Cancer Awareness Week 2024 campaign. Have heard of bone cancer? My heartfelt congratulations and my warmest thanks to all applicants.
And I will invite once again Sylvia to present to us this project. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Wow, thank you so much. I'm really excited to talk to you all about Bone Cancer Awareness Week, or BCAW. We love an acronym at BCRT, if you haven't already figured it out. And this was put together by our communications team, so unfortunately they can't be here, so I really hope I do it kind of justice talking about our awareness campaigns, because they really are kind of the heart of that. So BCAW was first established in 2008. It runs annually, and its goal is to really just raise awareness of primary bone cancer. It's held in October. It really advocates for patients, educates the public and healthcare professionals on primary bone cancer, and really kind of drives home the need for an earlier diagnosis. And so, like it was mentioned in the video, our campaign this past year was titled, "Have You Ever Heard of Bone Cancer?" Because we know from our patient community that prior to being diagnosed, that cases of bone cancer are diagnosed, our patient community told us that 76% of them were initially misdiagnosed. And a lot of them hadn't heard of bone cancer before diagnosis. So that's really where that idea came from, the patient community themselves. And we just kind of sought to build out a campaign around that theme. And a key aspect is the patients. Just in the storytelling session yesterday, we were talking about, what kind of do you want to achieve? And any campaign, raising awareness, raising funds. I think for us, it's putting the patients front and center. And so we really tried to do that with our campaign. So this is Jessica. She was the face of BCAW. We did a short film, patient story, and then like a PR campaign designed around her specific story. And during the week, we also ran some symptoms awareness that was publicized by Dr. Liz O'Riordan, who is a breast cancer surgeon, and her mother passed from osteosarcoma, so she's really passionate about early diagnosis and to really kind of keep that messaging from her perspective from one healthcare professional to another. And we launched a ribbon for the first time. I'm wearing it proudly today, just to raise awareness kind of out in the community of primary bone cancer. And just looking at kind of how else could we really drive home the awareness piece. Looking at research, we announced a collaboration with another charity in the UK called Hannah's Wilbury Wonder Pony, and that was a osteosarcoma specific funding announcement. And then we engage with our patient community by offering them a Costa voucher, so like a Starbucks or a Tim Hortons equivalent, to kind of just offer something to our existing patients, but also kind of try to bring in some new contacts as well. And then involving my work a bit, we launched an awareness survey to just kind of ask the community what they think about awareness, what we can do better, and to just help shape our future activities as a charity. So the impact of the campaign, the video content was seen, the content in general was seen about 3 million times on social media specifically. The videos had about 1 million views, and we had a lot of larger charities join our campaign, which was fantastic because we are kind of a small organization. And Jessica's story, kind of looking at the media reach, the potential is kind of measured to be about 600 million, so quite a high number there. And like I mentioned, with the kind of support service and Costa coffee vouchers that were offered, new patients and current patients got involved with that, which was really lovely to see. We had over 200 people contribute to our awareness survey during that week. And then of course, just kind of tying into what other fundraising activities we had during that week, it was really great to see our community get involved with. And again, every kind of campaign or initiative has its challenges. So being a rare cancer, it's really hard to kind of get your voice heard sometimes in the arena with some other diseases, and also just being a small charity. It is quite challenging sometimes. And then also kind of finding a balance between giving people real information and not scaring them, I think. And that's something that we always kind of consider, because it is hard. And especially when we're thinking about people getting misdiagnosed, people going to a general practitioner 7 times, kind of balancing that messaging as well. We want to keep the relationships with healthcare professionals, but we also want to keep a call to action. So kind of what does that look like? I'm pleased to report Jessica's doing fabulous now, but just right before the campaign launched, her cancer had returned. And so when you put a patient front and center in a campaign, their well-being is really number one. So navigating that. And then at our patient conference, we do filming. So we filmed a couple of our patients, researchers, with our awareness ribbons. So just kind of handling that in a sensitive manner as well. And just to kind of think about some best practices, the community, they're at the heart of everything that we do. And so when you think about awareness campaigns, or any campaign really, take their lead, find out what matters to them is really important. And kind of what's the call to action, provide them with that, but equally, they'll also tell you what they think it should be. And so having that open kind of channel of communication with your community is super important. And then kind of like I mentioned, the fundraising, when you're doing it for kind of a week or a month, you need to consider the wider organizational activity and impact. Like I mentioned, the osteosarcoma funding grant, like what can you tie into that week-long campaign? And kind of creating a ripple effect. Again, what matters to your supporters and really championing that in the campaign. And they'll speak on your behalf. You don't really need to speak for them. You just need to design the campaign and they'll really run with it, is something that we've learned. And just to make it really fun and interactive, which is more likely to kind of give the campaign momentum to lift it off the ground itself. And I'm hoping that this video will play so you can hear Jessica's story from herself.
I can't knock the care I had whilst I was having treatment. My whole team were amazing. But the care I had pre all of that, whilst I was pregnant with Theo, I just was vulnerable and I didn't feel listened to. And I remember repeatedly going to the doctor, to my midwife, and saying that I was experiencing these symptoms. And I remember everything pretty much just being palmed off as pregnancy pains. I think that there's not enough awareness of what primary bone cancer is. I mean, when I got referred to sarcoma, I didn't know what a sarcoma was. I didn't know what that meant. And so I think not just the wider population, but healthcare professionals, I think probably need to have more awareness of what primary bone cancer is and how the symptoms portray themselves.
And yeah, do get in touch if you have any thoughts, reflections, and happy to try to answer any questions as best as I can. Thank you so much.
So any questions for Sylvia?
Thank you so much.
So thank you, Sylvia and Marlies and Rosabelle, for presenting really these amazing projects. And I think the awards are really a recognition of your wonderful work and also an opportunity to showcase your projects to the global SPAGN community. And I think all your presentations have shown that it's really worth and to learn from each other. And of course, I think there will be surely more interesting projects that are worthwhile to be shared with the others. And SPAGN blog, Voices of Sarcoma, is one of the platforms to do this. So I'm going to just present a little bit what is the blog and also recent posts that we had. So the blog was established in October 2022 with the objectives to convey information about sarcoma, to share experiences and viewpoints, and to strengthen the bonds of the SPAGN community. It was established by Amy Bruno Lindner, who sadly passed away last year, but her last post was No Losers Here, and I invite you also to read it. Amy was really a great leader, and we miss her very much. And I mean, this was her last post, but she has done a lot before. Then we have, so far we had 44 posts in the blog, and we have been able to cover the 5 continents. But as you can see, of course, most of the stories are coming from Europe, but we have Canada, US, Latin America, we have South Africa, and India story, and also from Australia. So the latest post that we had is actually really from our fabulous Ornella Gonzato, who is not with us today, but she wrote a piece about why and how should you support SPAGN and why global networking is so important for the progress in sarcoma care. We had also Denise writing about last year about clinical trials, the 5 questions that you really have to ask about clinical trials. We have Roger, who also is not with us, but who has been, I mean, really a great author and always writing a lot of wonderful pieces. And here he was talking about his lump that all of a sudden appeared and what he did about it. And we had Gerard also writing about artificial intelligence and what does it mean for patients and patient advocates. Then we have, of course, the stories from our members, and last year we had Lauren talking about the journey towards improving sarcoma treatment in South Africa. We had from Australia, we had Abby's determination to suck it to sarcoma. That is a piece written by her mother because Abby passed away. We have just a photo here, but it was a beautiful story. You should read it by Matt Shah, who is also here. From Canada. We had a Brazilian contribution, even in Portuguese, by Georgia and Carolina. And also in November last year, we had really a very emotional piece, I find, by Marxie. She is, I think, now 14 years old. And she wrote about her experiences as a kid in the hospital and then how it was helping her that other kids would explain her what is happening in the hospital, like what is an MRT, what is an CT. And that actually drove her to a project that to prepare videos, educational videos, done by kids for kids, explaining what is going on. So that's in Hungarian, the videos itself, but read their story on our blog site, please. And then we have also topics, no, that are maybe like of interest for patients. We do interviews. We had like one story about detecting sarcomas early is crucial. That was in the context of the Sarcoma Awareness Month. And then I had an interview with Robin Jones on the story behind the sarcoma of the year, how experts struggle to develop therapies for dedifferentiated sarcomas. And of course, we had our Katrin writing about the stories in all the activities and successes of SPAGN in 2024. So actually, I'm doing all this, I'm telling you all this because to say that we need your contributions. Please, number one is like visit our blog site, share your projects and successes and needs. Also, let us know what topics do interest you, what are your concerns, write your story, become a member of the editorial team, and particularly as we now here in the States now with a lot of native speakers, you have editing talent, writing talents, please. And so contact any of us. Roger, who is not here, Natalia also couldn't come, Corey is here, and myself, we are the editorial team. So thank you very much. Any questions on this? Then we have a break.